a man who is taking forward the agenda of Modi's development mission, is working relentlessly from morning to evening. From every nook and corner, he is moving from day to day and taking forward the agenda of development. And he is none other than the son of soil, Dr. Jitendra Singh. Welcome, sir, to Excelsior News. And my first question that we appreciate the efforts taken by the central government as far as the developmental issues are concerned. But as far as the state unit of BJP, which is sharing the power in state government, we see a lack, or we see a creative policy vacuum in state as far as the policies creations are concerned. So what you see this?
No, certainly your inputs are well taken, and I'm sure we should take your suggestions and your inputs in the right spirit, in a healthy spirit. This is an important feedback because you care for the region as much as we care, and we are all the stakeholders and have a common commitment to the development of this region. And certainly if there is any lacuna or delay on the part of the state government, we will certainly urge upon them also. We have been constantly also following it up with the state government. There have been at times inputs that sometimes the funding and the spending of the funds is a little slow, but we would call upon the state government, and we've been given to understand that they now have increased the pace of the various projects. And particularly I would add to what you said, that those of the schemes which are being directly funded by the central government should be carried forward without any delay, because there is no reason or excuse, because the funds are being made available from the central government. And as long as Prime Minister Shri Modi is there, there is no dearth of funds availability for Jammu and Kashmir. Even if there is any deficit, the Modi government is ready to fulfill it.
Okay, sir. So next I want to touch the Kashmir issue. Centre's policy of dialogue, development and deterrence. So how do you see the Kashmir issue right up to this stage? How the situation in the Kashmir do you see?
No, first of all, I would say that there is a time, now this is high time to change the discourse. There is no issue as Kashmir issue. Jammu Kashmir is as much a state of India as any of the other 29 states, like whether it is Bihar or Uttar Pradesh or Andhra Pradesh. Those who keep repeating this issue, masala, they are the ones who have a vested interest in keeping the Kashmir pot boiling. And most of these worthies are those who have either been defeated in the elections, have been thrown out of the power. And these so-called Kashmir-centric mainstream politicians, when they are in power, they also claim that there is no issue. They swear by Kashmir being a part of integral part of India. When they are thrown out of the power overnight, they start questioning the status of Kashmir. The separatists, on the other hand, are separatists by convenience, not by conviction. Many of them have been part of the mainstream politics. When they could not move ahead their political agenda, they found an alternative means. So separatism for them is another means of politics. The freedom struggle, I had the courage and conviction to say this even in Srinagar when I was there on the 5th of this month, that even the freedom struggle in Kashmir is a farce. There is no such thing as a freedom struggle. This is more of an industry. This is mercenary terrorism. If you go by the history, because today we live in an era where 70% of the population is youth. We have to convince them what it is. And the youth of Kashmir is also now asking questions. I had the opportunity, we have been talking to the youth also. Let these so-called freedom fighters of Kashmir tell us which model of freedom struggle are they following from the history of the world. Is this Mahatma Gandhi model? Is this Martin Luther model? Is this Nelson Mandela model? The youth of Kashmir wants to be a part of the mainstream journey of India. He is well connected, well knit with the youth from other parts of the country. He does not wish to lose the opportunities which are available to the youth all over the country in the last 3 years of the Modi government. It is just that a wheel of fear is preventing him. But the manner in which a decisive action has begun against the terrorists and the supporters of terrorism or the separatists, I am sure the youth will come out and assert themselves.
Last, sir, on the issue of Rohingyas, the Supreme Court has mentioned that the issue is of highest magnitude, and the state government and the past state governments, their issues, comparing them with the Tamils, but they forgot that Tamils ultimately in Sri Lanka getting converted into LTT movement. So Rohingyas staying here and giving rise to such kind of LTT movements, may give rise in future. So how do you see it?
No, as far as we are concerned, we are very clear. They are a security risk, and those of us who have very strong stake in Jammu and Kashmir must always bear in mind that they were brought here partly by a design by the then ruling parties, Congress and National Conference, who had the vote bank politics in mind. They thought by settling them over here and getting them fake voter cards, they'll be able to change the vote composition. And they have a lot to answer now. And this also exposes their duplicity. The National Conference leaders in Kashmir, they speak against the against the deportation of the Rohingyas. In Jammu, they speak in a different language. In Delhi, they say Bharat Mata ki jai. So it is time there, this triangular stand also needs to be exposed. And you have to question them, question the National Conference, and question these some of these Congress leaders, that on the one hand, they are tactically supporting the settlement of Rohingyas or remaining conveniently silent and therefore thereby also endorsing. On the other hand, they are very vociferous in opposing citizenship rights to the West Pakistan refugees who have been here for the last 70 years. So what is their actual stand? They are fooling the people of Jammu. And I think the youth now is awakened enough. He can no longer be bluffed.
Thank you, sir. So the center stand is very clear that the sovereignty and the security of the country cannot be compromised at any cost. With cameraman Karan Singh, this is Amit reporting for Excelsior.